Good morning. Welcome to the first episode of this 100% Valheim playthrough. This is great. It was raining. Now it's stopped. So yeah, this is kind of the start of a really long journey that I'm planning on embarking on. Just to address the elephant in the room, I'm clearly not starting from the very start of the game. I have a house already. You can see I have the Eikthyr power, or Eikthyr power. I'm actually not sure how to pronounce it. In the left-hand corner of my screen, which means I've killed the first boss, and yeah, I have some leather armor and everything. So this is actually because I tried recording a bunch of stuff in the beginning, and the audio mix was so way off. Like when I was attacking a boar or something and trying to talk at the same time, you literally couldn't hear me. So I've adjusted those things now. I think things should be better. That's not a good start. I'm not showing the people that I'm a good archer. There we go. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm going to just probably end up chopping some wood, killing some stuff, and talking through what I want from this challenge. So the title of this video is gonna be something like 100%, I don't know, clickbait, something like that. It's gonna totally draw you in. I mean, you're watching this video, right? But what I mean by that is this is more than just your standard kill all the bosses. That means I've done 100% of the game. When I say 100%, I truly mean 100%. So this is going to include things like completing all of the side quests in Valheim. So Hilder's challenges. That's not something that's necessarily terribly hard to do. That's probably going to take, like, I don't know, 10 to 20 hours or something like that after completing all the bosses when you have stone portals and everything. So that's like one little thing to add on to your complete progression, but I have like three really big spooky challenges that I'm including as part of this playthrough that most people in their right mind wouldn't do, but here I am. So the first one, I'm not gonna milk this too much. The first one is going to be to create, hold on, let me kill this guy. Is going to be create and upgrade every single item in the game. So this goes for every single weapon, every single piece of armor, pretty much anything you can create at a crafting table, forge, black forge, galder table, you name it. I need to create that and upgrade it to its maximum level. No exceptions. Actually, there is one exception. At least at the time of recording this. So Ashland's just dropped. This is like June 2024. Ashland's just dropped not too long ago, and there are a bunch of like upgraded versions of weapons you can make with gemstones that you find in the charred fortresses. Sorry, spoiler alert. I hope no one's upset at me for that. But basically the number of gemstones that you can get on a single world is not enough to make all the different variants of each weapon. You need something like 77 bloodstones. I've done some research on this, and unless you have some absolutely absurd luck, that's just not going to happen. So to the best of my ability, I'm going to create and upgrade every single item in the game. I mean, that's enough of a challenge as you're going to get. That's still pretty crazy, even without every single gemstone version of weapons. So that's the first big one added on to like your standard Let's Play playthrough that you would do here. On top of that, I'm also planning on unlocking the entire map. I've already done a little bit, but if we scroll out, I have a lot more to do. As far as like how long I think this is going to take, it's really hard to say. Like when you are walking around, you have this bubble that goes around you. I actually don't know how large that bubble is, but I do know that the map is like 10,000 kilometers in diameter at the longest point. I know a long ship goes at 10 meters per second, but I do not know how to calculate anything beyond that because that's way above my pay grade. So I'm just gonna guesstimate a really rough like 200 to 600 hours is what I'm thinking, purely for the exploration front of this challenge. Because when I think of, oh, I want to complete 100% of the game, like seeing the entire map is included in that. Ooh, maybe I can get more free fine wood here. I've already gotten some of that. Oh, birch seeds. Look at that. Sorry, getting distracted. So yeah, that's another big part of this challenge. And then the last one, which I thought was not even going to be possible until I actually looked into it a little bit more, is to get level 100 of every single skill in the game. I really thought this was going to be like 10,000 hours, like completely not possible. But yeah, when I looked into it and like some of the methods you could use to train up some of these skills, I was surprised that like spears, for example, I calculated like 3 hours to get to level 100 for spears, which I know sounds like I'm not calculating that right, and maybe I'm not because I haven't actually done any like legitimate testing in a test world or anything. But yeah, you can get XP pretty quick for that. There are of course some that are not as easy to get XP in. Mainly crossbows is by far the worst one, just because the amount of XP you get for a shot is really low, and it takes a really long time to reload. Are you gonna come let me kill you? You're just gonna go for a little swim, buddy? But yeah, so those are the main three. We got creating and upgrading every weapon, or not every weapon, every item in the game. We got unlocking the entire map, and we got level 100 of all skills. I understand that this is greater than 1,000 hours of gameplay. It's definitely a multi-year journey, but it's something that I've been thinking about a lot, and I'm actually really, really excited for. It's gonna be a lot of grinding. If it means I log on to Valheim and I'm just sailing for 4 hours, just chilling, listening to music or chatting with friends, like that doesn't sound so bad to me. So I think it's a pretty ambitious goal, but I think it'd be a lot of fun to do. So I figured I'd kind of record it, and maybe other people might be interested in this type of like really long-term goal setting, trying to be macro efficient, figuring out stuff to do. I think it feels like a really different way to play the game, and I think that's kind of exciting. So yeah, I think I forget. I think I hear my dog shake in the background. I might have alluded to the spreadsheet that I made, but yeah, I made a huge spreadsheet of like all the item costs for that big first section goal of creating and upgrading every single item in the game. I want to jump over there and show you all what that looks like because I'm really proud of it. It's super, super nerdy, but I'm kind of into it. I'm really proud of it. I got really bored one day and spent like 4 or 5 hours creating the spreadsheet. And then in there, I also talk about all the different skills and how to level them up, as well as kind of have just like an overview of the challenge in itself. And I'm gonna link a read-only version of that spreadsheet in the description of this video as well, so people can look at it, figure out all of the numerous mistakes I made, and then get really angry at me for it, which should be cool. So yeah, this is my world. I'm sorry that you're missing out on the Ecther fight. I promise you, it went really smoothly. It's a really easy fight. Every time I do that fight, I'm like, okay, like I have really bad gear. I should not take this lightly. It's a boss battle, and then I kill it in like 30 seconds, and it's really not that bad at all. But yeah, so I'm gonna jump over to the spreadsheet, and we can talk about numbers and stuff there. Should be fun. Oh baby, okay, we're in the spreadsheet. I hope you guys are excited as me. Probably not, because that's reasonable, because it's a spreadsheet and this is a video game YouTube video, but I'm gonna try to make this snappy. This is actually multiple days after recording last because a truck hit my cable line and I lost internet, and this is on Google Sheets. Yeah, ridiculous. But I have internet again, so I'm able to actually load this page and talk through it. So this first page just kind of goes through a lot of what I already talked about in the overview. Couple things like assumptions for the challenge. This is single player, obviously. Using default settings, I didn't change any sliders. I'm not going to cheat, obviously. I'm not a cheater. And then when I say playing relatively efficiently, that's just in terms of the time estimates that I gave, which I'll get a little bit more into. And then excluded, just to note, like this, I would assume this is assumed by people watching this, but like maybe someone might consider rating every single dungeon as part of 100% playthrough, but that would be just so much, and I'm not gonna hold myself to that. I think even I have my limits. I'm not gonna try and mine every copper ore or chop every tree, because that would take many hours, I'd say. So yeah, just as like a rough overview of the challenge, and then I have some other sheets at the bottom here that kind of goes into more detail of like specifics of how I got the time estimates. We have these like top 4 as kind of the standard playthrough things to do. So like completed the game is obviously like the first big thing for completing this challenge. I estimate 100 to 200 hours. I really don't know how accurate that is, but this is what the majority of like the starting episodes are going to be, is me just actually going through, killing all the bosses. Pretty standard progression. Unlocking all lore. I actually don't know if this is in the game viewable somewhere, but that's, yeah, reading all the plaques. I think that's just going to come pretty easily as we progress through each biome. Collecting all the trophies is also kind of, like I mentioned before, going to be pretty trivial once we complete the whole game. But yeah, if I'm missing any, by the time I beat the last boss, I'll definitely have to go back for those. And then Hilder challenges. This assumes I have stone portals from the Ashlands, because the chests that you get from those challenges are not able to be transported through a normal portal. So, but yeah, once we have max gear and everything, I don't think this is going to be that hard. So I said 10 to 20 hours. And then the big three, like I was saying before, crafting and upgrading every item possible, 100 or 200 hours. Again, kind of the theme here. Super rough estimate, but this is going to take a while. A lot of resource gathering and kind of going through and creating everything. I'm definitely going to build a cool little room to show per biome everything that I'm creating, which is exciting. I called out some of the big time sinks here for collection. Flame metals, obviously the biggest one. That's going to be absolute hell to collect. Maybe pun intended, since it's a hell of a biome. Okay, yeah. Anyway, unlocking the entire map. This is just the chill sailing / running around part of this challenge. 200, 600 hours. I have no idea. I hope it's on the earlier side of that time estimate, but we will see. And then level 100 of every skill, which I have more detail on. I said 300 hours, and we'll go into that now. But yeah, 1,000, 1,500 hours is like what I'm saying is a safe estimate. So it's a long time, but I think it's doable. And I think that's a pretty exciting part of this challenge, is that this is actually something that I think is possible to do. So yeah, this next sheet, so this is the level 100 all skills. I go into a little bit more detail. I'm not going to go through like every single row that I have here, but just in general, this locks method is, I think, a method that I'm going to use to train a lot of the melee stats, I guess melee and the bow stat. I found this on the wiki. I really hope that it actually works because I haven't tested it, but the whole idea is basically you have some tamed locks in a little pen, and then you hit it over and over again. Once it's low health, then you feed it some barley or flax. I think that's what you need, barley and flax. And then the health regens, and you just eat stamina food, keep poking it, and get a lot of XP without having to think too much. So how I got to a lot of these numbers, I guess we'll go through one of these as an example. So for axes, the wiki says you get 1.5 XP per swing, and then when you add in the 50% rested buff here, that turns into 2.25 XP per swing. You need like around 20,000 XP in total, so you do some quick math, that's 9,000 swings of an axe, and then I'm really roughly estimating around 1 swing a second, which if you're just consistently swinging at a lock without anything else, that would be 2.5 hours in total, which is way less than I thought it would be. But obviously we need to account for eating food, hopping from locks to locks, repairing weapons. Yeah, there's going to be kind of a lot of extra time that isn't just hitting monster. So I doubled that to 5 hours. And then, yeah, that goes for a lot of the other ones. There are some big skills to call out. Like I mentioned before, crossbows. Where are those? Right here. That's like 50 hours just because it takes like 6 seconds to shoot and reload. And you get less XP for shooting a crossbow than you do for most other melee weapons, which I think is a little bit ridiculous. So I also have this other column for resources needed. So like, for example, for crossbows, you need a lot of bones, but I don't think that's going to be that big of an issue, since you kind of get a lot of those as you progress through the game pretty naturally. And I'd imagine they'd be pretty easy to farm in the Ashlands. There's a lot of bone piles and stuff you can pick up there. So yeah, honestly, a lot of these are not as bad as I thought. I think I'll end up probably finding some interesting methods for things like riding and running and sneaking and swimming and all the ones where it's just like do the activity. But honestly, a lot of this comes down to eat stamina food, do the activity, get XP. And yeah, this is something I'm going to save until the very end of the challenge, because if you die, you lose XP. And I'm definitely, this is not going to be a deathless playthrough. If it is, I'm probably cheating. And I said in the first page, we're not cheating. So yeah, going to be dying. So I don't want to spend too much time doing this before we're kind of done everything else. Okay, so the next two sheets are what I'm a bit more proud of. I guess I'll go through this one. So this is the thing that took me many hours to do. You can see at the top here we have all the different major types of resources that you would need to gather in the game. It's not completely comprehensive, but it's all the big ones, and some of the small ones as well. And then what I've done here is I've separated out biome to biome, and then split out each section into armor, weapons and tools, food and potions, and then other, and kind of everything that is craftable, or a lot of like the workbench upgrades, some buildable stuff in here as well, and then put in all of the different resources that you would need for it, and then did some Excel magic to add them all up into big numbers. So as you can see, I can scroll down and there is a lot of stuff to build. Mainly in the Ashlands is, I think, the part that's going to take the longest. If I scroll over to the left here, you can see for all the different weapons and the variations of the weapons, there is a ton of flame metal that we need. And then, yeah, the gemstones that you need for them, this is what I think is just totally not possible to do in a legitimate solo endeavor, just because there's only 20 charred fortresses per world, and yeah, you need, what was the total for bloodstone? I think it was 77. 77 bloodstone is just, you're just not gonna get that many in one playthrough, just with how the rate at which these gemstones spawn and how many you need to fully upgrade each of these. One last note on this is, for a lot of the Ashlands weapons, they get upgraded, or the wiki says they can get upgraded to a level that you currently can't upgrade them to because you don't have the workbench upgrades that you need. I'm assuming Deep North is going to let you max these weapons out, so I've just included everything you need. So for example, for all of these different versions of the Splitner, I think currently you would only need either 2 or 3 of each gem type to upgrade it fully with the upgrades you have available, but in total, if you can get them to level 4, it would be 7, so I'm saying 7 for now. And then, yeah, this item gathering sheet is just kind of a call out of all the, I'll call them notable resources from the resources that you would need to gather. So, like, iron's a big one, like pretty much all the metals, iron, silver. It's a good amount of bronze, even though it doesn't look like as big of a number. And then flame metal. Again, this is just grabbing from the other spreadsheet where I spent way too much time doing that. Oh, I also noticed, so this cell is no longer valid. It's in the public test branch right now, but before I was kind of worried about actually being able to collect as much flame metal because the spires would submerge once you start mining them, like the ocean leviathan, but apparently that's gonna no longer be a thing. So I don't think this is it's gonna be a grind to get this much flame metal, but I don't think it's as worrying as it was before. But yeah, so that is the spreadsheet. Again, I'm gonna have this in the description of the video, so y'all are welcome to check it out and point out all my mistakes as you wish. Okay, end spreadsheet nerding out section of the video. All right, and we are back in the game. I hope you enjoyed me nerding out over some numbers. Pretty much going to wrap things up here, considering we've kind of completed all of the baseline stuff we need from the meadows, even though I didn't show that much of it because of the audio issues I was having before, but it's pretty standard stuff. I hope nobody's missing out on me killing the deer boss. I guess I could go kill it again. I have a lot of deer trophies, but you know what? I thought about it and I was like, we don't really need to do that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make some antler pickaxes. I'm going to make all 3 of them because why not? And we're gonna be set up to go into the Black Forest. We're gonna venture over there for the next episode. Where yeah, hopefully I'll find some dungeons to raid. I think I already have one marked on the map, so I'll probably start off with that. Kill some skeletons, be able to upgrade some more stuff with that. Probably gonna run into a troll. Hopefully I don't die. And then yeah, if I got enough Surtling cores, I will definitely make some smelters and everything. Get some bronze, and that'll be some good stuff. So yeah, hopefully you all liked the video and are excited for the next episode of it. I will say, I know I kind of said that this playthrough is not going to be like a Let's Play, but honestly, for the first 100 or 200 days of in-game play, it probably is going to be like a Let's Play, just because yeah, there's not much of the route I'm going to be doing differently until I have better gear to run around with, until I have a good ship to sail around with. But yeah, hopefully you're as excited as me for the journey that we're about to do, and I will see you in the next episode. Goodbye!